In the ring, Italian fighter Angela Carini abruptly withdrawing from her match against Algeria's Imane Khelif after just 46 seconds and some hard punches. Khelif's participation in the women's matches has been under renewed scrutiny. She was disqualified from last year's World Championships after the International Boxing Association said she failed a gender eligibility test.
What is it that actually needs to happen before we put our foot down and stop allowing real women to have their lives jeopardized? I mean, are we going to allow this until someone actually loses their life? We already have other women athletes getting paralyzed and hurt consistently because of this sort of thing. And now we're allowing this in the Olympics? I mean, what actually has to happen? Do people want to see a woman actually lose their life before we decide that enough is enough? What is it that you guys want to happen? At this point, there's no way that you're not aware of what's going on in the Paris Olympics. I mean, they're already making fun of the Last Supper. They're pretty much doing everything to show the entire world that the decline of Western society is in full swing. But this is just another illustration of exactly what we already knew. Imane Khelif, I don't know if I'm saying that right. To be honest with you, I don't care. A person who has, for some reason, decided to identify as a woman. Now, you have a lot of people saying that this is not a normal case of transgender identity, that this person was born a woman, and yet for some reason, it has come to light that this person is a little bit more than meets the eye. According to CNN Sports, and this is not to say that they didn't try to whitewash this, because I had to actually get through a whole bunch of garbage of them trying to actually justify this before I got to the truth. But I finally came across what it was that this person really was doing, and honestly, I don't understand how more people are not outraged about this. Khelif is an accomplished amateur who won a silver medal at the International Boxing Association World's Championship in 2022. But in March 2023, Khelif came under the spotlight for another reason. The IBA disqualified her from a gold medal match, saying that a test showed that she did not meet the required necessary eligibility criteria and was found to have competitive advantages over other female competitors. Then when you look into what those competitive advantages were, she has XY chromosomes, which means that she is really not a she. But what makes me even more disgusted, and I just don't understand this, and it really irritates the living crap out of me, is that his opponent, Angela Carini, actually apologized for forfeiting the fight because Khelif was getting abused or hate or whatever the case may be. Let me tell you something. If you're going into a ring knowing full well that you have the attributes of a man, I don't care what your case is. I swear, I'm so sick of everybody thinking that they have to tiptoe around this and walk on eggshells. If you have XY chromosomes, you are a man. If you are born with some sort of genetic mutation or whatever, I can be sensitive to that. But at the end of the day, you know that you have advantages over women. You have a denser musculature. You have a different skeletal structure. You have more strength pound for pound, and you know it. It's exactly why you got stripped of your medals. It's exactly why you got stripped by the IBA. But no, because Mark Adams from the IOC decides that he thinks that he knows what's better for everyone, including female athletes who may have to compete against this kind of nonsense. It's ridiculous that you have people who sit there and look you straight in the face and tell you that this is okay because this individual has always competed against women, so there's no problem with it.
The Algerian boxer was born female, was registered female, lived her life as a female, boxed as a female, has a female passport. This is not a transgender case. I know you're not saying that, but there has been some confusion that somehow it's a man fighting a woman. This is just not the case. Scientifically, on that there is consensus. Scientifically, this is not a man fighting a woman, and I think we need to kind of get that. I think the question you have to ask yourself is, are these athletes women? The answer is yes, according to eligibility, according to their passports, according to their history. A test which may have happened overnight was a made-up test, which is new. I don't think we should give that any credence at all. If we start acting on every issue, every allegation that comes up, then we start having the kind of witch hunts that we're having now. But I think if you start working on all suspicions, then we're in trouble. But I think more importantly, this woman has competed for a very, very long time in women's sport against many opponents. In fact, against Italian boxers twice in the last couple of years, I think. So I think if you start working on all suspicions, then we end up very much heading towards a gender testing regime, which is not good for anybody.
Except that when you're getting hit in the face by somebody who clearly has XY chromosomes and it's manifested in the way that this person has grown and developed physically, how can you sit there and say that it's okay? This is infuriating. I swear to, if that was one of my daughters, I'm telling you right now, you can tell me you present however you present, but that, but you know, honestly, I've seen, and this is what really gets me about this, guys. I have seen people actually defending this garbage. I have people who actually think they have the moral high ground because they say, well, this isn't even a regular trans case. This person was born with a genetic mutation that makes them think that they're a woman, therefore it's okay. Except here's the thing. It doesn't take you more than 2 seconds of looking at that individual to know that there is something off there, that there is something not right. When you look at the muscular build, when you look at the broad shoulders, even when you look at the jawline, that to me doesn't strike me as someone who I'm going to look at and say, oh, yeah, that's a normal woman. That's okay. Yeah, go ahead and get in and fight with women. It's absolutely ridiculous. For that person to do what he did to that female in that fight, normally a man would end up going to jail over that. But if you do it in the Olympics, it's okay because we're all woke now and we're all progressive. And so long as you say you're something, then that's what you actually are. I guess that's just how it works now. But you can't talk to people like that. You can't actually get good sense into the woke mind virus. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 9, do not speak in the hearing of a fool, for he will despise the good sense of your words. From the book of Jeremiah, chapter 13, verse 10, this evil people who refuse to hear my words, who stubbornly follow their own heart and have gone after other gods to serve them and worship them, shall be like this loincloth, which is good for nothing. Absolutely understand that progressivism is exactly that. It is another false idol. It is a false god where people think that everything is about love and everything's about inclusion, except when you don't agree with them, and then they're not interested in including you at all. Everything that you're saying is homophobic or transphobic or something with phobic, which I don't understand because I'm not afraid of any of them, but yet they do not hesitate to hit you with the buzzwords right away because they think it's going to push you off. It's not working anymore. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is not working anymore. From Jump Street, we have to come at this biblically, guys, because this is the kind of evil, this is the kind of wickedness that is becoming normal. And if we do not come together and crush it, it is going to continue to go. And I'm telling you guys, especially my fathers out there, for all those of you who have daughters, ask yourself if you want your daughter training her entire life for something as prestigious as the Olympics to get into the ring with someone who has been tested and have found to have XY chromosomes, and then she just has to sit there and have her dreams crushed in 46 seconds just because the Olympics and Mr. Mark Adams decide, well, they've always competed this way, so this must be okay. Could you imagine being that blind and being that much of a coward, being that spineless, that you don't have the intestinal fortitude to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and look at this again, because even though we're a different organization than the IBA, we might want to go ahead and test this person and see what's going on. No. And I guarantee you that if Carini would have been hurt badly or worse, this would have been a completely different situation. But because she had the good sense to say, I don't want to get rocked by a man, everybody's looking at her like she's the bad one because Khelif started getting abuse. You gotta be absolutely kidding me, man. It is time for us to stand against this garbage the same way that we all stood up and boycotted the Olympics, the same way that we crushed them with not giving them any ratings after they decided that they wanted to mock the Last Supper. We need to stand together and say enough is enough. You will stop endangering the women in our society. This is unexcusable. And anybody out there, especially a man who is defending this, you ought to be just as ashamed as the one who got in there and pretended to be a woman just for the sake of being able to win. We've been seeing this for years already, and I ask you, when is enough enough? When are we going to stop allowing men to steal from women and act like it's okay? And what's even crazier is that I don't hear a single feminist screaming and yelling about how women's rights are being violated because, of course, you can't say a word when it's against a person who claims to be a woman, and then all of a sudden everything's off limits, regardless of what the situation is. Every single one of you should be ashamed of yourselves. Hey guys, I pray to God that you liked the video, and if you did, please type amen in the comment section if you agree, and if you don't, go ahead and leave those comments also. Just keep it respectful. As always, please don't forget to like the video, hit the sub button, share the video, and smash that bell for event notifications, guys, so you never miss a new video. If you love what you see and you want to become a channel sponsor, you can hit that join button where the sponsorship trailer will explain the different tier options and the perks that you'll get as a result of joining each individual plan. Also, don't forget to check out our merch store, as I've recently added a ton of new merchandise to the store, and I would love to see nothing more than to see some of you guys wearing the Cross Unit logo out there in the wild. Lastly, the link to my Buy Me a Coffee is there as well. Of course, you're not required to do any of that. Just having you here with me is more than enough, and I am extremely grateful to God for your fellowship. As always, guys, be safe, be good, and be blessed. Remember that Jesus is King and the literal only way to heaven. So for those of you who haven't started a relationship with him yet, please consider it, because when he comes back for his people, it's gonna happen just like this.